Pretty Little Liars, the television series, sometimes deals with disturbing and problematic topics. We provided a list of content warnings in the episode description. Hello and welcome to Dead Ends. I'm Emily.
I'm Brenton.
And today we have two new season 5 episodes of Pretty Little Liars for you.
Yeah.
In the latter half of season 5.
That's right.
Shit gets good.
Mm-hmm. Hopefully everybody had a very nice and happy holiday.
Mm-hmm.
And, as we're in is it technically Boxing Day that's on the day after Christmas?
Yeah, in the UK.
And happy Boxing Day to all.
Are we British?
No, but we want to wish our British contingent a happy Boxing Day.
Switching from one colonial country to another.
That's right. Make it as easy as possible. Do we want a quick book update? At the glacial pace that I'm reading it at?
Yeah, go for it.
Yeah. It turns out when you aren't doing it for a specific dedicated project, the reading really slows down.
Who would have thunk?
And I want to make a concerted effort to finish it by the next time, but we'll see. So the big thing out of so far is that Mona pretends like she's also receiving texts from A.
Mm-hmm.
Her and Spencer have like a moment where they're like planning Hannah's party because Hannah woke up from her coma, but she's in the hospital. Oh, the Hannah plotline is awful. Would you be surprised that she doesn't remember anything and Lucas is hanging around all the time? And she's like, why is this kid hanging around? I remember everything before going to Mona's party, so Mona and I are best friends again. It's terrible.
Oh my god.
Yeah, and she's like, well, he's useful, so I keep him around to help run around and do things. And at least in the book, he kisses her when she's awake.
I was gonna ask.
Mm-hmm. He just comes up and kisses her, and he's like, "Does this bring up any memories for you?" And she's like, "No." But she's like, "Why is my heart fluttering?"
Me, if you talk to me before 9 a.m. Do you know me? No.
No. What else? Oh, and then I think I mentioned it last time that they're doing the Arya and Jenna in an art class together.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Cool.
That's the exciting stuff.
Well, you want to take us into these episodes then?
Yes, let's do it. Season 5, episode 15, episode 110, Fresh Meat. Jail. Toby patrols the halls. He's actually just bringing an envelope on behalf of Tanner. The officer takes the envelopes, dismisses him before he can see the files. Toby sees Allison sitting on a bench. She says, they can't keep ignoring me. Toby asks why she was moved to this jail. Allie says, I don't have to tell you. She has bruises on her arm that he notices. She says, tell Spencer to drop the embargo. Don't you remember what it's like being locked in a cage for something you didn't do? He's like, yeah, I remember. And I remember whose words put me there. She's like, you'll see differently when your girlfriends are changed to this bench. Girlfriend. The friends meet. Toby has a lot going wrong so far, but that's not it.
Mm-hmm.
The friends meet with Toby about Allison's words that she said. Hannah thinks A is helping her on the outside.
The friends meet with Toby about Allison's words that she said. That reads exactly like the first draft in my story.
Well, let me tell you what is also a first draft. Arya says, okay, also in my notes, I wrote Holden. I figured it out that I was doing it 3/4 of the way through the episode. I'm like, oh my God. So if I say Holden accidentally, I will correct myself. Hannah thinks A is helping Allison from the outside. Arya says it must be Holbrook. Holbrook is away for the episode, visiting and caring for his sick dad. Or so we think. Yes.
We've been watching Dairy Girls.
He's actually from Derry.
I don't think so.
Or he's the American cousin.
Yeah, he was the American cousin.
Toby gets called away from the high school. I just thought that was funny that Toby's like, I gotta go answer a call and be a police officer. And it's like, why are you hanging around a high school, you creep?
Also, I'm pretty sure you have to be 21 to be a cop. Not 100% sure. I have to look that up.
I don't know either. Well,
I
wasn't going to become one, so I didn't really know. Hannah got into a ton of schools and is visiting colleges this weekend. Spencer's freaked out by her getting into a bunch of schools. Anna defends Holbrook and calls him a bad kisser, and the friends are like, "Excuse me, what?" And she's like, "Well, I just closed mouth kissed him when he like helped us out one time." I think it's Spencer is just like, or Emily is just like, you could just say thank you.
Spencer's like, thank you notes, not like, I think it's like your thank you card's out of style.
Arya gets a text from Fitz that the brewery reopening is frantic. The brew. Emily talks to Arya and she wants to get some money to visit Paige in California.
This isn't Riverdale. We don't have teenagers in high school creating alcohol distribution.
Right. Well, he's at least, older. Arya's freaked out over not getting into colleges. She was rejected to every single one except she was waitlisted by Talmadge and says A must be responsible. Emily says you can write a letter to get in from the waitlist, and Arya doesn't want to listen to this. Ashley meets with Jason because he's now running the office that or Jessica's business, and Ashley's still working there. And Jason's like, "Oh, I saw that you were faxing out your resume," like all upset that she was going to leave, and then he tries to get her to stay for one more month. Toby is on a call in Mona's backyard. They're searching, like on a call, like with police-wise. Like the police are like searching Mona's backyard. The search was called by Tanner. He finds a knife and some leaves, and then he lets all the other officers know that it's all clear over there. We then find out as he tells Spencer and Caleb that it was his knife, and it was from his family's cabin. Caleb's like, "Oh yeah, I saw that knife." Spencer says, "We need to get rid of it." Toby's like, "It could be the murder weapon. The police need it." Spencer says, "This could get the friends all in jail," and Caleb agrees. Quote, "I'm not messing with things so you can get a medal." Spencer instead takes the middle ground and is like, "We're not going to do anything. We'll stay quiet and Toby won't touch it, right?" We all agree, Caleb, and Caleb's like, "Fine." Arya and some random guy in a newsboy cap are setting up the brew. Fitz is busy on the phone, and Arya lies about not hearing from colleges. Emily offers to cater the opening for the brew, even though she's like not a professional chef at all. Arya eventually strong arms Fitz into agreeing.
She looks at him.
Yeah.
She doesn't really like. She's like, "Oh yeah, she'd totally do great at it," but she does not push it.
And she just gives him a look.
Yeah, I have qualms with this because he is the adult. I mean, as we know, he's never actually being the adult, but he's the adult in this scenario, and he's letting teenagers tell him what to do, and then he's actually like not following. I don't know. I just have.
And then he's a dick later. Agreed there. Strong arm being a strong word. I take that back. I apologize.
I mean, she looked at him and said, "Why not?"
I apologize. You?
Thank you.
You? Fictional Arya? I also apologize to you. He's a grown man. He can make his own decisions. Ashley at the office gets a call from Allison from the jail. She accepts it, but Jason motions that he's not able to talk right now. Allison begs to talk to him, but he again nods no, and Ashley hangs up. Jason has only seen her once since she went to jail and has mixed feelings on whether she had something to do with their mom dying. Hannah's on a college tour at Ballard. She's bored by the tour and tells the tour guide that her mom is dating a pastor. Just in case you were wondering. This is Chekhov's pastor here. She calls Caleb and he tells her about the knife. She wants to come home, but he's like, "No, you shouldn't. You should stay there." The tour guide then comes back around to like try and find Hannah, but she's gone. Arya shows Emily her letter for the waitlist. And Emily's like, "I think you need to make this more personal," and Arya freaks out. Fitz walks in as she's saying she won't get in any colleges. Emily then excuses herself, so Arya tells him about the rejections, and he encourages her to apply to colleges later. And he's like, "Well, you wouldn't get into Talmadge anyway because my ex, Jackie, is now the admission officer there. So, like, don't bother with the letter at all." Also have qualms with this. This is really bad advice. Spencer comes over to Caleb's angry that Hannah knows about the knife. She's like, "I'm getting all these angry texts."
I didn't think about this, but why does Ezra know that Jackie works there?
Why indeed?
That's not one of my questions for you. It's just like a...
Oh, it's a question, all right. Just keeping tabs on where your exes work at. Normal behavior. Spencer sees Caleb has a bag and equipment and realizes he's going to go for the knife. He doesn't want to get jailed for suspicion of murder again. Spencer's like, "Excuse me, again?" And Caleb's like, "Well, I haven't told you everything about my past, and I haven't really told Hannah everything about my past either. I was hacking for some sketchy people, and I got arrested." Some officer took pity on him and got him released. Spencer agrees to go with him to look for the knife. Arya rewrites her letter, and Emily struggles with catering. Fitz comes into the kitchen and sees she's in disarray, and Emily tries to cover that everything's okay. Anne arrives at Holbrook's Holbrook's dad's house, which is at a mobile home park. She parks her Mercedes as she's like, "Oh, this mobile home park, it's so scary." It's just the what the scene is trying to do there is just really funny. I'm from the big city. I don't understand all these mobile home park things.
It's the man outside cutting up the deer that really.
They try to make it as like scary as possible. Ashley calls to check in on her as Hannah looks around, and she sees the dead deer hung upside down and the guy chopping up its innards. The little boy rides up on a bike, and she asks for Mr. Holbrook, and he yells back, he's like, "Papa," and rides away. Bald guy comes out of a trailer and introduces himself as Holbrook's father. He hasn't seen Holbrook in weeks, even though he's supposed to be taking care of him. Holbrook's dad says, "I thought he'd be with you. Are you out on bail or something?" Spencer and Caleb search for the knife, and Spencer eventually finds it in the leaves, and Caleb grabs it with the cloth. Anna walks back to the car to find all the doors open. She sees the doll the stuffy that she got from Ballard, sitting on her front seat. There's a string in the middle of it, and she pulls, and then all of the deer innards spill out. Arya visits Emily, and Emily says Paige hasn't texted her back or talked to her. Arya shows Emily her paper, and Emily's like, "This is bad. This is like all about you feeling bad and like how you wasted your time dating an older man and that you wouldn't do it and how much it set you back and like cut you off from your peers." I'm like, damn, she's spitting. Emily says if Fitz saw this, he'll be hurt, and Arya says she already sent it. Emily let her cook. Emily arrives at the brew and finds a woman named Talia there to help out in the kitchen. Fitz is like, "I think we can both relax now that there's a professional in the kitchen." Emily says she has work to do and heads to the back to start working. Caleb arrives at Spencer's. He couldn't get rid of the knife because he felt like he was being followed. Spencer said, "I can do it." Caleb says as long as that knife exists, A will find a way to get it back to us, which is very true. They go to the school to use the kiln. Caleb goes into the kiln to set down the knife, and then Spencer's like, "What's that? I hear a noise," and walks away. Surprisingly, the kiln door closes on Caleb as it turns on and he's trapped. Arya goes to for people that should know that they're in a horror movie at this point. She's like, "What was that?" "Caleb, I'm going to go follow the squirrel." Arya goes to Talmadge and stops Jackie like a normal person. She begs her to delete the letter, and Jackie mentions reading it. She's like, "I won't tell Fitz about this, and because it's like I don't want to talk to him ever again, and I'm so glad that I understand now what a horrible person he was and what a drag all my life was, and like sometimes girls just make mistakes like us, isn't that right?" And Arya's like, "Uh-huh." Mm-hmm.
Except that they're not peers at all because Arya is a child applying to college and she works in admissions.
Yes.
Which means she's already gone to college.
We're just a couple of gals.
Just us two girls who dated the same guy. No, that was a predator. Jackie, you dated a predator and Arya's still with him.
Don't worry, I'll do you a solid and let you into the college.
Really, Pop, I know you have no extracurriculars because you were being groomed.
Especially reading the paper, you would think, is this actually one of your questions? Should I save this? I'll save this. Caleb is dying in the kiln. Spencer comes back. She turns off the kiln and gets him out. With Caleb out, Spencer turns back on the kiln to destroy the knife. Allie gets a visit from Hannah, and Hannah's like, "I came to tell you to give up and stop fighting." Allison's like, "I did. That's why I'm here." Hannah doesn't believe her. And Allison says, "If everyone thinks I'm so smart, why didn't I have a better alibi than my brother?" And it's like, damn, okay, she's onto something. The night of Thanksgiving, she got a call from Cyrus to meet, but he never showed. She realized afterwards that it was a trap set by A, and if she was A, why would she let this happen to herself? Hannah says, "If you are A, you're counting on me to care about you, but you shouldn't," and then walks away. Spencer arrives for the brew reopening. Emily forces an empanada on her that looks extremely messy. The guy with the newsboy cap then reappears and comes up and asks if Spencer is Melissa's sister. He got offered to rent the barn. His name is Johnny, and Spencer's like, "Oh, I wouldn't be excited about living in my backyard. Someone died. Someone was buried there." Emily breaks down in the back to Talia about Paige, and Talia helps her make her empanadas better. Jason visits Ashley at her home about the weird paper on a Saturday. Saying leave that work for the weekdays. about weird paperwork that he found. There's someone apparently living in an apartment whose lease expired 3 years ago. I wrote this down just in case like it came up later. I don't think it did. Jason isn't allowed back in his house anymore because of getting his sister arrested, and so he's staying at the Edgewood Hotel. Ashley invites him for dinner. Arya gets an Arya gets an email from Jackie saying she got into Talmadge. Fitz introduces Arya to Professor from Vassar. Toby arrives arrives at the brew and asks to speak to Spencer outside. He's pissed that like Spencer went and got the knife, and Spencer's like, well, you would only know that I took the knife because you went back for it. And he's like, well, I did it for the right reasons, like giving it to the police. And Spencer's like, tries to talk to him, and he says, there's things I can't know, like I can't know now. And Spencer's like, you used to say I could tell you everything. And then Toby leaves, and Spencer cries. Ashley and Jason dig through paperwork and talk about Jessica being a softie at heart. They have a nice dinner, and then Jason kisses her. He apologizes and says, sorry, just consider that a thank you. And she's like, well, I don't know what she says, but like, so I didn't write it down, but like, I would like another thank you. And then they make out. Tickled pink by this.
I completely forgot this happens. Like, if you had asked me who hooks up with Jason, I have a small list or like maybe like 1 or 2 names, but Ashley was not on it. I forgot.
Right. She also forgot. She's like, oh, right, I was in a relationship.
Pastor Ted's been gone so long.
Uh-huh. Arya tells Emily about the letter and getting into Talmadge. She's like, well, you can't, and then says that she can't tell Fitz about this yet. Fitz then talks to Emily and tries to let her down easy, like about like not hiring her as a chef essentially for the kitchen. And she's like, it's okay, you can hire Talia. Arya finds a book on colleges and a bookmark marked on the Talmadge page. She looks at the bookmark, and it's a cutout of her letter to admissions. What's it called when you put laminated? Hannah comes home and finds 2 plates on the counter and then sees Jason walk down the stairs. Allison gets a new orange jumpsuit to change into, and inside is a note that says, your friends will see you soon. The end.
Love it.
Yeah.
Is Allie actually being attacked in jail?
It seems like it. I was almost wondering, I think I didn't bring this up last time, but like, kind of like if Batman ended up in jail and there's all the people that Batman put in jail. But I know Allison didn't do anything, so I'm just imagining there's a bunch of people who's just like, hey, she made fun of me at school. There's all these people that she just like made their lives a living hell.
Classmates are in jail.
I know, but that's all I could think of. It's like Rorschach and Watchmen. It's just a bunch of people that she aggrieved. I mean, you know, I assume, or yeah, because there's the line of the title of the episode is like she's like, you know how it is in these jails when fresh meat.
Do you think Arya is actually being targeted by A, and that's why she's not getting into colleges?
No, but I think it's a really good excuse. It's so good that Arya's like, it can't be me.
Well, she's like, is it me?
Mm-hmm. Exactly. Like, she doesn't really want to have to, like, think of the fact that...
But she has all these, like, art credentials, and she's studied in Iceland.
Right.
So why would she not? And she has good grades, like, presumably. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. So it's hard to tell why she wouldn't get into college.
Mm-hmm.
When everybody else is. I guess we don't know about Emily.
And we don't technically, we know Spencer's getting into certain schools, but...
Mm-hmm. Yeah, she got into, well, yeah.
That's the next episode.
Faraway school. Like Hawaii. Yeah, it is really funny that Arya doesn't get into anything.
Why is there a knife in Mona's backyard? Who put it there?
It does seem like they're trying to frame the friends and get them thrown in jail, or at least like put the heat on them. Or let's see, I'm falling into A's trap too here. I'm like, is this a double blind? Like, was A counting on them to take the knife and then hide it?
Destroy it?
Mm-hmm. Maybe.
Whose blood do you think was on it?
Odd. You think it's actually Mona's? Because I'm still in the, Mona's alive camp, even after they got a stew going in the next episode. But and it could be like Mona's blood from whatever they did. Because it does seem like Mona was attacked.
Uh-huh. You watched the video.
Mm-hmm. They don't really show us much of that video that they found in the vent. But what we do see of it was pretty upsetting. She's like getting dragged around.
Uh-huh.
So you could see her getting cut up, potentially. I think it could. I would say it'd probably Mona's.
Mm-hmm.
But like who? Yeah, I guess it would. Going back, it would be that the knife was planted, say, by A to frame one of the friends, or like put the heat on Toby or something. Because I'm assuming they probably had gloves on. So it's not like you could really like identify their prints.
Mm-hmm.
So unless it's amateur hour over here.
What or why does Allie want to talk to Jason? Like, what about why?
Oh, I assume it's a help me out, we're family. There's like she's like trying to go down her tree of like potential people to like help her out. And I think thinks that she could potentially reach Jason. It's like, Jason, I could explain what happened that night. I don't think there's something that they're both in the know about and that they both know the other knows. You know what I mean? That would help Allison out.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think they're like cross-referencing information that way.
Okay.
So I think it's something along the lines of this is a person that would help her out because it's family.
Caleb's got like a little side plot going on where we talk about his backstory of being charged with murder. What hasn't this boy done?
I know. I thought we got something similar about this too. I remember him talking about running with some sketchy guys, but I don't think there was anything about him being framed for murder.
Yeah, I don't think so either.
And it's funny because he's like, I haven't told Hannah about certain things about my past either. It's like, what else? Yeah, you're right. Like, what else can we dig in this treasure box of Caleb's past? He's like, well, God. Crap, I just completely blanked.
That's okay. You ready for the next question?
Yeah. I was just going to make a joke about him. What's it called when rich people steal money from companies?
Money laundering?
Yeah, thank you.
Or
Embezzlement. Wasn't that worth it?
The little boy in the trailer park calls.
I find him so funny. Paw.
But so I have a question about that. Is Holbrook's dad his grandpa, or is that his dad? Is that Holbrook's sibling, or is that Holbrook's son, and is that his grandpa?
I'd wonder if that was Holbrook's son. That was just like my gut reaction when I first saw it. When he's like going like Pa, it's like, oh my God, that's his son. But I'm assuming he's not gonna come back around. I just have a hunch that because the show likes, which was really funny in the We Love You to Death too. They're like, oh, like they talked about like creepy kids, isn't that great? Which I'm sure the kid actors felt great about. But this show loves to be like, here's a creepy kid. Here's a kid.
Isn't that scary?
Uh-huh. This one's riding around on a bike.
It's a nice reminder to take your birth control, you know?
That's right.
Oh, horrifying children are.
Uh-huh.
Why is Emily so mad that Arya wrote a letter saying that she regrets dating Ezra?
Yeah, everybody's really come around on Ezra all of a sudden. I mean, Fitz. I didn't say anything. She's all like, but defending him?
I mean, I know that's her boss, but
yeah. Do you remember that he tried to write a book about you?
Yeah, and he after tutoring you.
I know personally. And she's like, water under the bridge. Arya, you're doing him wrong. By writing, like Arya
needs to go to college.
And Arya's literally writing the truth. She
Yes.
felt separated by her friends because she couldn't tell them about this thing.
Yes.
Or her other peers and her family.
Yes.
Because she was having a relationship with the teacher.
This is not something that is, like a secret.
Mm-hmm.
Or like that her friends shouldn't know.
Right. And if she had, like, if she was able to write something that convincing on a paper, well, she probably wrote the truth.
Mm-hmm. What do you think's going to happen with that?
He's gonna get her into another college like Vassar, and no, he's not gonna get her to another college, but they're gonna have it. He's eventually gonna find out, maybe through. No, she's probably just gonna tell him eventually, and then she's gonna end up going to Hollis. That's like her backup.
Everyone's backup is Hollis.
Yeah.
Is Hollis a 4-year school? It has
I don't
to be.
know because that's the other thing. It's like how would she be able to
They just didn't.
apply?
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe she.
But I don't know. Do that kind of fuzzy logic
I think
stuff.
she's taken classes at Hollis before, like art classes and stuff. So maybe
Mhm.
she can already just do that.
Right.
I don't know.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. If she's like already enrolled as a student, that makes sense.
Jackie. We go all the way to wherever Talmadge is to see
I don't
Jackie.
know where Talmadge is.
Isn't it Talmadge?
Oh, is it Talmadge?
Yeah, that's so.
Talmadge College. What? Top hit. What colleges did the Pretty Little Liars attend? I shouldn't look at this. Is Talmadge College real? I feel like I'm teetering on the edge of finding out spoilers. It doesn't seem like it.
I don't know.
This is why I shouldn't be Googling stuff related to PLL. Couldn't tell if you're yawning or you're like saw something really shocking.
No, it's
Forgot about that.
is Talmadge College real? I don't think so.
Okay.
If it is, let us know. Not
Yeah.
coming up, and you'd think, oh wait, Arthur T. Talmadge is a public school. No.
No. Okay.
The K through 5th grade school.
Oh, no wonder she was able to go.
Who's Talmadge? Who's Arthur Talmadge? Well,
I think that's enough of that.
Jackie, though. So let's presume it's a little bit far away. Jackie's like, oh, girl, you came all the way here just to tell me that you feel weird because you dated a... Like, she should have been like, here's some resources.
Yeah, absolutely.
This man is a creep.
Like I read your paper and like, damn, that I can't believe like I understand what you went through.
Yeah, I feel bad for the way I interacted with you because you were a child.
It's just,
you know what I mean? Like,
right.
Not that she's the villain, but like she's like, oh, I was an adult that witnessed what was happening to you as a child, and I didn't say anything.
Right. Yeah, I was just like petty and jealous, but like, oh my god, I can't believe this happened to you.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm so sorry.
Who turned on the kiln?
Hey, of course. I mean, you're just setting yourself up like that. Spencer walking away. What are you doing?
Was Allie set up by A, or is she lying to Hannah?
No, I think she's definitely set up by A. At this point, it seems crystal clear.
Okay.
Although, I was assuming the note that she gets would be a little bit more vague about that. But no, it's just literally a threat. Or it's like, your friends will be seeing you. It could be, your friends will be seeing you soon. You're going to get out.
That's true.
Yeah.
That's true.
A glass half full.
How did the Hastings find Johnny to move into their barn?
It's like a family friend, right?
I think so.
It is so
But
funny.
like who is Johnny? What the
Yeah.
fuck is Johnny doing here?
He kind of like flirts with Arya, and then I was like, where is this going? Why are we really highlighting on this guy? Like, I didn't write down his name. Same with Talia, because I'm like, I don't know if either of these people are going to be beyond this episode, and turns out I was wrong. Yeah, I don't know. It's very funny because he's just kind of a weird dude.
Mm-hmm.
But he kind of looks like Whitmer Thomas. I couldn't help but think of that the entire time. It was really funny. I was like, oh yeah, left your special.
We won't try to figure out who's living in the apartment with the expired lease because we don't know. It doesn't matter yet. We don't know if it will matter.
No, but I also was like, do I need to write this down? I'm gonna write that down.
But more importantly, why does Ashley have sex with Jason?
It's very funny. It's just like, why? I don't understand.
Either.
Because there's like no. It seems so paternal or maternal.
Maternal.
No, want to go play catch in the yard, Jason. But it seems very maternal because she's like, oh, like, she feels bad for him, and understandably, she wants to get another job. But it is very much like, oh, you're going through a lot. I'm happy to help you out here. But then it, it's just because I'm reading it because of the age difference, and then it's just like, oh no, this is romantic. Like, oh, okay.
Okay.
Just like Ashley, I'm sitting there going, I guess this is happening.
Will Cop, Toby, and Spencer work it out?
I'm honestly wondering if this will be the straw that breaks the Spoby back. Bad metaphor. But I actually do wonder if this will be what breaks them up.
It really did set us in a bad direction.
Yeah. It really shows that it's a natural conclusion for Toby in a way that is upsetting to me as someone that likes Toby as a character. But like when I think about it, like I see the conclusion that they brought Toby through. I just wouldn't be the conclusion I would write. But like it doesn't completely not make sense. Like, 'cause you understand that why he became a cop is control, and that shows crystal clear in these episodes, which I think is done well.
Mm-hmm.
Of like, it's not about. I mean, there is that sense of like where he says like, I want to stop A, but that's not what this is about. It's really about controlling Spencer's behavior and being some sort of intermediary, and thinking that he should be the one to be able to control what happens or solve the case.
Mm-hmm.
It's all about that like sense of empowerment and control. It's like, okay, well, I'm the right person to handle the levers of power here. So he never learns the lesson because it's always back and forth with Spoby of we need to trust each other more. We're going to do things on our own.
Mm-hmm.
And it always makes sense for Toby, who was a kid that never had a support system and went through some really troubled things. So he had to learn to like rely on himself.
Mm-hmm.
But he never learned the lesson of opening up and trusting other people. So instead, he became a cop so he could police other people, including his girlfriend.
That's actually a very deep read.
I was thinking about this today. Yeah. And
I like it.
I think that kind of reflects like this. I feel like it really pins like where the show has kind of showed cops so far. It's like they don't solve or prevent anything. They are just there to police, or I mean, another word for police, but to control how the other people interact and their actions.
Mm-hmm.
It's punitive. It's to get people in trouble. It's not actually to prevent anything because all sorts of tragedies happen.
Mm-hmm.
And so and I think also the show seems really intentional about that because everybody's uncomfortable by Toby being a cop.
Mm-hmm.
Caleb, who has had all sorts of run-ins with the law. And then also Johnny too, and Spencer at the same time. It was just like she never says out loud like we've been through so much, but yeah.
Yeah.
So
And last but not least, who left the bookmark during Ezra's party?
it's so good. They're just bringing. That must have been really hard to like carry around. That's like a Bible you're bringing in there. That's a huge dictionary you're setting down.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, who would have been at Spencer or not Spencer's party? Fitz's party that he wouldn't have that nobody would notice mixing around. I guess they just was it Talia?
Johnny?
Johnny. Yeah, because now that we have these two new characters, there's of course like the opportunity for Pretty Little Liars to be like, well, they're past. Why are they here? Let me tell you, there's something fishy.
I don't remember either of them from before.
I know.
That doesn't mean anything, though.
It's kind of like Sydney, where like Sydney shows up and it's like, oh well, she was actually a double agent.
Mm-hmm.
It's very funny. So, I don't know. We don't really get a good sense of the brew opening party, but apparently it was a hit.
Yeah.
So,
Well,
yeah.
Next episode?
Yeah. All right. Before we get to the summary, wanted to introduce our two new actors. Will Bradley plays Johnny. That it doesn't have very many credits. There's only like a few here, and I don't really recognize most of them. But Talia is played by Miranda Ray Mayo, and who has been on Chicago Fire since 2016, and is like a main like character on there. Has been on a total of 96 episodes. So, yeah, good work.
Get it,
I
girl.
don't watch. Oh,
You don't watch Chicago Fire?
No,
Really? I just thought you were always the biggest fan.
I'm a big CBS procedural guy, but stick to my NCISs. Season 5, episode 16, episode 111, Over a Barrel. Spencer tells the friends about the knife and destroying it. Emily wonders if Holbrook planted it. Hannah tells him about trying to track down Holbrook, and Spencer offers to mail a package that Emily has of Paige's stuff. Turns out Paige wanted space from Emily, so Emily's not going to go visit her anymore. Arya's freaked out over the bookmark, and Emily says Holbrook wasn't there at the party. Arya wants to get into another college before Fitz finds out. The receipt starts printing for Arya's order, and it's a copy of Arya's letter to Jackie printed on the receipt paper. There's a note at the bottom from A that says, "This kind of lie will stay on your permanent record." I like this touch.
Yeah, A's really getting it now.
Uh-huh. Hannah comes home and sees her mom and Pastor Ted in the kitchen. He's back from Peru. Hannah grills Ashley when he's out of the room about acting weird and about Jason, and she wants to talk, but Ashley doesn't. Emily and Talia work at the brew. Fitz walks in and asks if things are okay between those two because it was a little tense, and Emily says it's all right. Arya tries to talk to him, but he gets pulled away by a phone call. She follows after him as he hangs up angry about a contractor. She tries to tell him about the letter, and he says he can talk to the professor she gets cut off, and he says he can talk to the professor at Vassar about her admission. She's like, oh, great. Spencer and Toby sit on her couch as she's worried about the letters from colleges on the coffee table. She's upset that she got into these schools that are all so far away from Rosewood because she'd be far away from him. But it was also she applied to these schools like Hawaii, which was a plan to get away from Rosewood and be safe. She says Allison is still out there tormenting me. Johnny then arrives to hand off the rent check and the safety deposit. Toby leaves for work, and Johnny notices he's a cop, and Spencer's like, well, he wasn't always.
Saddest line ever.
I know. Arya gets a text from someone signed H to stop looking for him and meet at the grill at noon. She shows Emily, and Emily's like, I don't think that's a good idea. Johnny digs through Spencer's garbage. He's going to make his own art supply. Spencer notices this and is like, oh, Botticelli. Like, yes, you must have spent time in Italy. And he's like, I did. And it's like, oh, yeah, I took like a art lesson on this. I don't know anything about art, so.
Me neither.
Spencer gets a message from Mona Vanderwall with geographic coordinates and this was activated and with a timestamp on it that says it was activated that morning. Caleb, Hannah, and Spencer try to figure out the coordinates. Arya apparently got the same text. The text was sent by Mona's laptop. They think something triggered the response from the laptop by someone trying to get into it. Caleb tracks down the location and says it's like she made it easy for me to log in and find this. Hannah gets a call from Ted, and she has to go meet him later. And she's like, oh, okay, but, and stay safe. And, what's that saying about a rat or whatever? And Spencer's like, a cornered rat will bite. She's like, yes, that. Remember, Holbrook's a rat. So good. Arya's waiting at the grill as Jason comes up. She asks how he's doing, and he's like, not great. Ashley canceled on our work lunch, and so would you like to instead dine with me? And she's like, sure. Talia's changing things up around the brew, and then, comes after Emily's, shirt for having a rip in it. It's just like, oh, maybe we should have better uniforms here.
Maybe we should have uniforms, something that makes us look, put together.
Yeah. And then Emily's like, no. You just got here. Caleb and Spencer are at the storage facility, arrive at a storage facility, which is where the laptop is. Spencer runs into her old teacher there. She said the teacher says that 1017 has this horrible smell from it. She ran into a blonde girl once and tried to talk to her, but didn't see her face, and the blonde girl didn't stop to turn around. Caleb then comes back, and he made a lockpick out of a can and says, let's go pick the teacher's lock. Jason confides in Arya about how he's scared of Allison. The police think she had help moving Mona's body, and Arya says, we also think it was someone. It was someone maybe on the inside. We think it was Holbrook. Arya gets text from H to meet at a corner. Hannah talks to Caleb while he's in the air duct because he broke into an air duct through the teacher's storage facility. It was just very funny. It's just like, it sounds like you're in an air duct. He's like, well, I am. It's actually the most spacious air duct, too.
Mm-hmm.
Hannah meets Ted. He wants to talk to her, and Hannah's like, I already know. And he's like, you know how? And she's like, I just want you to know, I understand, pretty much just you don't have to talk to me about this. I get it. And he's like, wait, but I'm asking for your permission to ask your mom to marry me tonight at dinner. And she's like, oh, okay, yeah, sure, I'll be there. Hannah leaves her mom a message afterwards that says she really needs to talk to her. Aria's outside a flower shop and tells Emily over the phone. Emily and Talia are working in the back as Talia's like, oh, was the t-shirt I made fun of a gift from your ex? Talia then gives her advice about moving on, and Emily walks off.
As she should.
Yeah. I mean,
You've known
what
this
do you
woman 2 days.
yeah, and she's already being like, oh, your tattered shirt. You must have gotten defensive about it because, like, it was from your ex, wasn't it?
As if you couldn't just, like, rip a hole in your shirt while working.
Yeah. I'm sorry. I like our dress code here because it's casual.
I like looking casual because I work in a fucking coffee shop.
Back off, Talia.
I don't like that.
No. Caleb and Spencer get into a storage unit through the air vents. There's lots of containers of biomaterial stuff, and then they find Mona's computer. They find lots of other things too, and Spencer's like, this looks like evidence. Spencer wonders if and there's like clothes and bags, and Spencer wonders if all of them were what Mona was wearing when she died. They think Holbrook is keeping all these items here to build a case against them. Caleb sees someone wearing a hazmat suit, and he's like, get down! And Spencer's like, it's actually just the suit. No one's in it. She then finds a barrel, and then they're both worried that Mona's in there because of the materials that are around there. She's either being preserved or she's being melted. And then like her body's being broken down, and Caleb's like a pickle.
Like a pickle or sludge.
Uh-huh. Spencer thinks something yeah, and then they go to open it as the lights shut off. The woman hands Arya flowers and is like, oh, you must be Arya. I was told you were supposed to deliver these. Goodbye. Emily stitches up the shirt and puts it in the envelope to Paige. Ashley still won't talk to Hannah about Jason. Hannah asks why, and it's like, will you lose your job over this? My favorite piece. It's like, that was Hannah's brother, or Allison's brother, and Ashley's like, I know, it's not something I'm comfortable with either. And Hannah tells her, it's like, Ted's a really good guy, and I don't want you ruin your relationship for this. And asks if Ashley's going to tell him, and Ashley's like, well, that's for me to decide.
The worst.
Spencer worries about leaving evidence behind that could trace back to them at the storage facility. Like, did they leave fingerprints or something? And Caleb's like, it's all right. And he wipes the security footage of them being there. They wonder how they can link this storage facility to Holbrook. Caleb's like, well, we can call Toby and tip him off. And Spencer's like, I don't want him to lose his job if this is a bad lead. Caleb is instead going to hack into the place and look up the lease of that storage unit and see who owns it. Caleb says, I should have gone after the knife alone, and Toby isn't talking to me either, and Spencer's like, well, he's talking to me, there's just not much to say. Oof. Spencer has some brutal lines.
Mm-hmm.
Arya is supposed to deliver flowers to Ashley, and Hannah sends her upstairs to talk. The flowers are supposedly from Jason. Hannah says this is Allison trying to cause trouble, tells her about seeing Allison in jail, and Hannah pleads not to mention the flowers, and Arya agrees. Spencer and Toby play Scrabble, and Toby's like, wow, it's nice. We haven't done this in a while. And it talks about how boring his job is. He's like, who knew that being a police officer would mean I'm just giving pointless tickets to people all day?
Well, he saved the city from an off-leash labradoodle and an abandoned bike.
Tax dollars at work, people. Toby says, maybe we should talk about you leaving for college. I don't like that you're going to potentially be far away. And he's like, well, maybe you can come with me. Spencer then gets a text, and Toby reads it. And it's from Caleb, that says, found something, call me. Toby's like, I want you to stop doing things. Bah, 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 bah. And Spencer says, whatever you say, officer. Great line. Hannah clears the table after dinner, and Ted proposes to Ashley with giant peanut butter cookie. Ashley says, I need a minute to think, and walks away, and Hannah tries to comfort him as he leaves. Ashley is upset about the mess of things and is like, you know what? Ted's a great guy. He deserves the truth. And Hannah goes to comfort her. Arya goes to call Fitz and tell him about things, but pauses. Emily goes to see Fitz for her paycheck. Talia's there too, who compliments Emily's look outside of the outside of work. And it's like, are you hitting on me, Talia? She asks about Fitz and says, oh, what do you think? He has a cute butt, doesn't he? And Emily is uncomfortable by this.
But doesn't say that he's taken, or that it's weird that he was her English teacher, or
yeah. Well, he's dating my friend,
and he was my English teacher, and he's my boss now.
What is the status of this? Yeah, I know they're open, right? But she's public, I should say. But what are they doing? They're just out and about all the time together anyway. Johnny comes in to get an egg to make the paints. He's been reading up on Rosebud and all that's going on. So he asks about Allison. It's like, were you really her friend? And Spencer's like, yeah. Johnny asks if she's trying to get far away from here, like, because I saw all the like college letters. And Spencer's like, I don't know if I could do something as mundane as college. And Johnny's like, yeah, I bailed on college after a semester. I'm going to learn to be an artist on the road. You can choose whatever path you want. You don't have to go to college if you don't want to, but if you want to, go do it. And Spencer ignores a text from Caleb to call him. Really good advice from Johnny, though.
Mm-hmm.
Caleb visits Hannah. Hannah doesn't tell him about the Jason thing. Caleb finds out the name on the rental, the name on the lease for the storage unit, and it's in Hannah's name. A hooded figure breaks into Holbrook's office desk and accesses his computer.
Okay, the first and obviously most important question is, will Arya get into Vassar?
I think she will, but she's not going to take it because of all of the, stupid shit going on.
We briefly already touched on this, but this new trying to implement a uniform thing, trying to take control thing, what is it telling us about this character? Like, do you think they're trying to lead us in a specific direction with her?
Yeah, I think there's definitely something up of like she's trying to be controlling and like weasel her way into their like almost like their ecosystem there.
Uh-huh.
So it's like, in Pretty Little Liars land, what was it? She have some past that we don't know about connected to all these things?
How did Ezra already know her?
Oh, right. He already knew her. There's another ex-girlfriend. But it's not even that because she's like, hey, look at that cute butt there.
Or is she just seeing if Emily's straight?
Oh, that could be it. Because she like is like, wow, Emily, wow, look at you outside of your clothes, like outside in your street clothes.
That's what I was wondering. Is this like a litmus test?
Yeah, wolf whistles at her. No, but
how old is she?
Talia seems like an adult, also like bits, because he's like, oh, thank you, like they seem to be like friends, so it's like almost like college buddies. But I don't know. But also same qualms of like, well, Emily's still in high school.
What's going to happen with Ashley and Ted?
Oh, I was almost wondering if this is the last episode with Ted and like Ashley like broke the news to him off screen and he's gone. Ted is so, Ted's so important that
he's so seventh heaven.
Yeah. When he sees your happy face and the love of family, where can you go?
He just wants to be Hannah's dad.
Uh-huh. Master Ted, just that nice old guy.
Is Jason a reliable informant or is he playing Arya?
Oh, I can't help but think that Jason is not thinking like 10 steps ahead. Maybe that's just the vibe of the character through 5 seasons. It's usually he's just like, yeah, I'm just like caught up in stuff and I'm gonna try and figure out things on my own, and then leaves. So I don't know exactly. I don't know if this time's gonna be different. Like when the elevator fell, he just disappears.
He just up and left. Yeah. Well, I mean,
he didn't find out anything really. He just like is gone.
Did he actually order those flowers to Ashley?
No, I do think that's an A thing. I don't think he actually did that. It'd be really funny if he did though. The whole thing is very funny. Like why? Like there's just no reason to throw this in. Been boring with Ashley.
Another thing I wrote down because I brought it up to you while we were watching this episode was that there's a rumor or a thing, and it's been like I feel like around for a long time, and it comes up often where bad guys or villains aren't seen using Apple products in television and movies. Like, I don't know. The rumor is that like Apple doesn't like their products to be seen in a bad light. And I think there's like even from like when they did Knives Out,
yeah.
That there was an interview where I think they're talking about that even then. So I think I don't know if they play with it in that movie. I can't remember if that's what they end up like turning that on its head,
Oh yeah, I don't know what phones everybody has.
But it just made me think because they're looking and you're like, okay, well, Arya has an iPhone now because she used to have at the beginning that little like she was always our product placement phone. She had like the little like slide up BlackBerry or whatever. Hannah has always had an iPhone. We always knew it wasn't Hannah. Pretty sure Emily has an iPhone and Spencer has an iPhone now. So I
It's
think
just
we're all iPhones.
knock them off your list. That's so funny. I hadn't heard of this thing at all until you mentioned it last night. I'm like, oh, you have to bring this up.
I can't believe you've never heard of that. It's like a thing because like people talk about it even like after like a Marvel movie and stuff. It's like, okay.
Oh, who had the iPhone?
Yeah.
That's really
Who
funny.
didn't have an iPhone.
Oh, right. Who didn't have an iPhone? It's hilarious.
And I don't know how accurate it is, like if it's across the board or if it's actually what Apple like makes people agree to. I have no idea. It's just like a thing.
Mm-hmm.
It's like a conjecture.
At least seems semi-substantiated by Ryan Johnson, right?
I mean, I didn't read all of the article, but I believe that's the direction.
Vibe.
Yeah, the vibe.
Yeah.
Or that this is like a thing that people believe.
It's really funny.
But yeah, so I don't think any of the girls are currently A.
Yeah. No, if you just need current proof.
Did Allie have an iPhone?
I don't know. I need to start looking out for this because I wasn't. I didn't know.
Well, other things you need to look out for is who actually owns the storage unit. Like who rented it and put it in Hannah's name.
Oh, I was almost wondering if it's Mona setting this up. I wondered if all this stuff was like set up in Mona, like the contingent that Mona, that this is all a plan of Mona's. If it's to, in the case of like her getting like seriously injured or dying, Mona has all these like contingency plans set up, and I think that's what all this is leading to. Like she had, even if the storage unit wasn't originally rented by her, it was like she was able to update the lease to point to Hannah so that they could lead them all back here, so they would make them be invested in working on whatever is going on in the storage unit, like whatever is inside the barrel.
What do you think is inside the barrel? Is it Mona? And if so, Pickle or Sludge?
Okay, if it is Mona, I think Sludge, because that was the first thing I think of. I'm like, oh my god, they're trying to break down a body. I think that's probably from Breaking Bad where I'm like getting that from.
Mm-hmm.
But that was my first thought, is that okay, this is Sludge, because then that would mean you could get rid of the body. I don't think it's Mona, but I have no idea what else it would be. Do you think it's Hippie?
Oh, maybe.
I'm like, I don't think it's Mona, because I'm real riding that Mona's gonna come back.
Yeah, you keep that. Keep that here.
So I don't know what else is in this giant barrel, and that weird smells were coming from the storage unit.
Is it A then that orchestrated Arya's wild goose chase if A set up the flowers?
Yes.
Why are the text signed from H?
I think to try and throw off that it was from Holbrook. Like, A knows that they're after Holbrook.
Do you think Holbrook's A?
No. I think he's working with Allie.
Oh, okay.
I do think that's right, but he's not. It's a crooked cop in a line of other crooked cops.
Speaking of cops, why is Toby so weird and controlling as a cop?
Yes, I already did that, but it's terrible. And it's like, normally, I'm like, why did I feel so revolted when he like looked at Spencer's phone? Because it's like, in a relationship, you can answer my phone. I don't really care. But then he's just like, oh, you were doing this with Caleb, and it's like immediately like just the worst vibes on the planet. And I'm like, oh, you shouldn't be looking at her phone.
Mm-hmm.
But I love like throughout all this, like Spencer being like, God, like it's like a woman that seems that she had given her best shot to like try and move past this and like be okay with this, and is just having the worst time.
Mm-hmm.
Because it's like, yeah, you didn't used to be this way.
Mm-hmm.
Now it's miserable. I feel terrible.
Yeah, I can't be with you if you're like this.
Yeah. But you know what? I am enjoying the spy hijinks of Spaleb.
You're enjoying Spaleb.
I like the spy hijinks there.
Yep.
What's platonically breaking into things?
Okay, I was just checking.
I don't know about this now.
It's like, what? You're trying to put them together. Where are you putting Hannah?
I'm just worried that you're maybe hinting at something in the future.
I would never. I mean, does Hannah end up with Ezra? Absolutely, but like...
First you come for Mona Show, then you come for Hannah.
I'm just kidding.
Let's hope so.
I also really like when they put Caleb and Arya together.
Yes, that's so fun. They don't do that enough.
They don't do that enough.
I was really hoping for more hacking scenes. We didn't get any more of Hacking School.
Yeah, I'm waiting for an update on that.
Brutal. They're the best underused pairing for sure.
Mm-hmm. They just have like a good like, because she's so like Spencer's snarky and like they're both, her and Caleb are both like equal in that way where they're like very like vicious.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas like Arya's a little more like beat around the bush and then snap and then beat around the bush and then snap.
Right.
Whereas Caleb is just kind of like steady.
Mm-hmm.
They play well together.
Yeah, totally. They're both like kind of like they just both won't take shit.
Then they're fiercely loyal.
Mm-hmm.
How did that ring get baked into a cookie that looked as hard as rocks?
That looked like a really...
As someone with a peanut allergy, that seems very triggering for me. Like, don't you put jewelry in a peanut butter cookie?
Mm-mm. You can never wear that ring again. It did look soft when he broke it, though. That's a huge cookie.
But it snapped.
Oh, did it snap?
I think it
I
snapped.
thought he just kind of like broke it and it was like off. Maybe not. Either way, get that out of here.
Will Ashley tell Ted?
Yes. But I
Do you
I
think it
wouldn't be
will end
surprised
her
if
and
it's
Ted?
Yeah. I don't know what they're gonna do with Ted. It kind of seems like they're writing him off the show.
Here, yeah, we're just so like a little kid. I don't know.
Yeah.
As if like the whole premise of this isn't me asking you questions. And you
I am feeling very aggrieved by this.
You're a little on the defense tonight, baby. First with the Spaleb and now with the yeah.
You're just like, really? And I was like, uh-oh.
You said you gave them a ship name, so I was just worried.
Okay. I'm not shipping them.
Okay.
So now I'm worried.
I guess there's friendship ships. I always like
Right.
that you have like Sparia and all that,
The
but
best ships.
yes, the best ships. Is that a new employee? What was her name? I can't remember at the bar.
Talia.
Talia. Is she hitting on Emily or Ezra in that scene? That's literally what I wrote down.
Yeah, I'd probably say Emily. That was my first gut thing there.
Why does Johnny have so many questions about Allie?
Well, if you just found out about all the shit that is going on in Rosewood,
I would
have
not
a lot of
walk into the house and ask the girl who had been friends with the girl who was in jail for murder.
Johnny doesn't seem like he has a lot of tact.
That's true. But I meant more out of like, I don't know what Spencer's up to. She was friends with the girl who committed murder.
Yeah, that's fair.
I mean, just like the Rosewood police, guilty by association.
That's right. It's really funny.
Last but not least, who is the black hoodie logging into Holbrook's computer? And is it Holbrook? Because they knew the password.
I hadn't thought about that. That this could just be Holbrook. Oh, off the clock. I don't want to.
And why has the Rosewood police station not put cameras in? Or do they have
just
cameras?
Something. Anything. Oh, not the Holbrook police station. The Rosewood police station just is getting hacked all the time. I could walk in there and hack it.
I always say it.
Just,
After you did your 1-day hacking class with Caleb.
I would say that I could just walk in and it'd be like, who are you? I'm just Brenton. And they're like, okay, cool. It's like, here's the office. Need to use a computer? Our detective's computer's open right now. I do find it funny that this whole book breaking in and accessing his own files.
Just because they knew the password.
It could be Mona. Crafty.
Or she's Sludge.
Yeah, or like instead of cake, Mona or Sludge.
Are you ready to take us to Theory Corner?
Okay. Not quite ready yet.
Just wait and you can come back in.
Hold. All right, let's step into... Theory Corner. Welcome to Theory Corner, everybody. All right. So I do still think Mona's alive, and I think this is all that she's
Developing a
playing.
twitch. My eye.
Oh.
Carry on, sorry.
You're like, I don't want to hear about Mona being alive again.
No, just was my eye started twitching.
When will this man come to terms? I do think she set all this up in the case of like her death. So all the breadcrumbs they're following is set up by Mona to point them in this place. And so it's now, I like the idea that of Mona setting all these things up. And it's just all these like, okay, I have all these contingency plans in case something happens to me because she was just that smart.
Mm-hmm.
I like that idea. I think that's a really cool thing. It's just a fun thing in stories where it's like, oh, this person set up all these things in the advent of that something happened to him. So I think that's where Mona's trying to lead them. I still think Mona's trying to lead them on the case of people assisting Allison and related things there. So I think this is related to Holbrook. And I think he's maybe trying to use this to help Allison get out of jail potentially. Possibly other nefarious things of maybe planting evidence to make it seem like it was the friends and not Allison, so she would be able to get out and there wouldn't be a case against her anymore. I could see that route going. There could also be the other thing of that he's helping out whatever A is going on, and that A has all these, is having him collect all these things, so that they could essentially do the exact same plan that I was speaking to. Make it seem like they are all extremely guilty. Who out of the two new characters, who do I think is most likely to be part of the A team or some sort of? It seems like Talia, just because of the way that she's been, putting her nose in people's businesses. But Johnny, I don't know. Johnny's just kind of like chilling, it seems like so far, but his talkativeness could be masking evil intent. But I think it's more likely Talia. And then I guess my money probably on A is still like Jenna. I think that's probably the best bet. I do think we've seen the last of Melissa for a while. Maybe forever. It's, she did say that she was guilty of killing someone. I just never get the vibe that Jason is doing anything. Kind of get like that he's a little bit of golden retriever energy off him, Labrador. He's very demure, golden retriever, but that there's not like nefarious plans that's happening.
Okay.
He's just trying to make it by and roll along with things.
He's having a life.
Yeah, he's having a life. I don't know if I have too much else. Again, I have no idea what's in the bucket. If it could be Mona as Sludge, but if
it's not Mona, what is it?
God knows. It's a great thing in mystery storytelling. What's in the box? Mystery box. They play something and you just want to know. Good times. And it works in the next show that we're gonna watch at some point, or not next show, but the show in the future that we're gonna watch, Lost. What's in the hatch?
Nothing.
No, there's a lot. But there's no answers.
Well, that's gonna be
just preparing you. No, that's probably some of my favorite stuff.
I do remember this
the hatch.
The stuff related to this like tin can being a thing.
I would totally latch onto this too. I'm all
and I remember like when they open it.
Oh,
or like
that's
who opens
great.
it and what's there.
Inside. Do we get one of those? They open it up and then it's just the shot of their faces, like
I don't remember. I'm sure.
Yeah. I'm very excited to find out what's in that thing. But yeah, we'll have more guests next week. I just don't know what. Yeah, maybe I just don't know enough about science to make a guess.
You just don't know?
I just don't. But all right, I think that's it for Theory Corner then. We'll see you all next time. Bye-bye. these are fun episodes, even if it's just kind of like set up, so we don't have as much to talk about. But good times.
Oh, well,
Nope, sorry. You can find this podcast on. I always want to wind up and do that, but like we don't really have other things to plug right now. You could find this podcast on all your podcast platforms of choice at Dead Ends. You can find us on YouTube for the video version at dead_ends. Tell your friends, like, comment, subscribe, all that good stuff. You can also send emails if you have questions, things you want to talk about at deadendspcast@gmail.com. Or just sound off in the comments. We like talking to people in the comments. It's great. But otherwise, we will leave you there for this time. Let you know we are still here. We're going to find out everything.
Sorry.
I almost forgot my
I was like, I don't know if he's pausing for dramatic effect or if he literally doesn't know what he's supposed to be doing. I didn't want to jump in if it was like intentional.
No.
You didn't panic. There was no panic in your eyes yet.
There's a little bit. I'm like, it's coming. It's coming.
I wasn't looking.
Goodbye.
Bye.